little introduction. So I'm Sherry Mosley. I'm here in Sausalito, California in my office, my private practice. I do Asian medicine, and I do a lot of shamanic and Akashic record readings and healings using Akashic enlightenment. So we're working with the Akashic records and the Book of Truth. So we're going into the multi-universal knowledge bases and receiving everything that we need for our ascension process, healing ourselves and aligning with our highest divine blueprints. And so there are many of these classes and events that I host, usually bringing in whatever I am guided to bring in. So as with all the other sessions that I've done, this one is also guided. I was in Mount Shasta in August of 2021 doing the Ascension and Higher Contact retreat. And during a contact session at Ascension Rock, came in touch with these beautiful angelic beings, and they opened up this beautiful crystalline cavern of rebirthing frequencies and energies. And the entire time that we were there, we did also come into contact with these very large beings that were looking over us. And I usually tend to see Archangel Metatron. He's very large, almost kind of a muscular or just a very stocky build. And him, as well as Archangel Michael, they were both there, as well as these other angelics. And I worked with the Seraphim before. And the Seraphim are the angelics that are you could say the guardians. They look over all of the other angelic beings, right, as well as us, and they help us to template into our angelic selves. So I did do a lot of, a write-up for this class on the presentation on my website, and it's also presented on New Earth One template or platform. And in that, I'm talking about how Archangel Michael, as well as Metatron, are considered watcher angels and or seraphim. And they actually assisted the Ascended Master Jesus in going through his ascension process. So, as well as Archangel Metatron used to be Enoch, right? And so both have gone through a process of shedding their denser frequencies to become more light, right? To align more with your enlightened self. And they're considering these the Eden Light frequencies, as well as, that would be considered coming back to unity consciousness out of duality, is what, A Course in Miracles, or if you get into Dharma, right, coming out of duality, coming into the harmony of yin and yang, coming back together again, unifying, coming back to this ascended template. Okay, and so I don't want to make this too religious, but, and it's not meant to be religious, we use these terms as a way of helping us to understand a lot of energies and frequencies that are really far beyond our mental conception and being able to grasp it. So we put it into these compartmentalized packages so that we can understand based on like a human-based form, how these energies are interacting with us and how they've been interacting with us the entire time that humans have been incarnated on the earth plane. So as many of you know, or I'd assume that many of you know, Earth is going through a huge transformation, ascension process and awakening. And as we do this, each soul is kind of on their own path of this awakening process. So as we go through this awakening process, we are sent guides, angels, even extraterrestrials, spirit guides, all these beings to assist us. And so this class, and it's going to be a series of sessions, is to assist us through a very transformational period of time that we are going through. Okay, and this is what they were telling me, is that there are going to be these, what they're considering portal shifts right? And so it's kind of like when we go through an eclipse, right? Eclipses, the energy frequency really magnifies what doesn't belong anymore to bring it out, to surface it, to pull it out of our lives, and then, kind of shatters our reality a bit, and then pushes us into this new direction. So what we're going through this fall is there's just a lot of astrological events, but overall, you could say the script has already been written. This has already happened, and we are just becoming aware of it, right? Which is how we're even able to do an event like this. They're just assisting us down this river that is already flowing so that we don't get caught or stranded on the side, right? So this month, there's a lot of shifting going on planetarily. And we went through, so let me back up a second here. So in 2020 was a very large awakening for the masses. And 2021 is where a lot of cycles are closed out in 2020 and are opening up in 2021. So it is a bit of a reformation, revolution. Things are shifting and changing globally, okay? And the systems of our world are also shifting with that as well, because they're no longer serving humanity's highest and best. So you may see this on a global scale as well. So in last December, there was a very large Saturn square. And this year there have been 3 Saturn Uranus. There was the conjunction. The Great Conjunction was in December, and the squares are happening now through this year, scattered through this year. And this has happened before. This is where things like coming into the internet age even was able to happen, right? So the general idea is beneficial. It is beneficial for everybody to move forward, but moving forward and change can be a bit tumultuous, right? And this is bringing that change again, okay? And so this is actually really affecting humanity a lot. There's a lot of people that have been woken up to, well, what am I spending my time in? What am I doing with this life, this incarnation? What am I really here to do? What is my purpose, right? And so this is a level of awakening that is occurring. So now, this year has been this transformation where a lot of old fears are being pulled out. There's been a lot of eclipses, planets going retrograde to have us see what no longer belongs. Okay, and so this fall, the planets are coming direct, and we have the last Saturn-Uranus square that is happening December 24th. So in this fall period, there are things that are going to be popping up that need to be adjusted so that they can, kind of be the large boulder that's being removed from the flow of this river that is already taking place. Right. And so this is why we do this. In general, you would like a meditation practice or something that you are checking in with to do guidance, to receive guidance, so that you're not coming from a place of fear, anything that is ego-based, right? The it really wants to hold on to things that are most likely no longer serving, just for the purpose of, well, this feels safe, right? But it's an illusion of safe. Okay, and so now more than ever, we're going through these portal shifts, and they're going to be asking us to let go of what is no longer serving and to really step into who we are. So a lot of people leaving their jobs. If you've noticed, there's a bit of lots of people are hiring now for a lot of jobs, because a lot of people are, they're feeling like something needs to change. So while in Mount Shasta, we're connecting to these angelics to help us go through this transformation. And, we don't want to say that we are, becoming Jesus in a literal sense, but we are ascending into our higher beingness, reuniting with ourselves in ways that we have been denying ourselves. And the more that we are able to come into this high frequency of reunification, the higher the timeline that we are creating or stepping into, right? And so as each of these shifts or portals opens up, there becomes an opportunity to to step into a new level of your higher self, which oftentimes there can be this sense of, well, I'm not ready. I don't know, this seems a bit too much too fast, or I'm not sure about this. And this could be happening very, very deeply internally, emotionally, a lot of maybe patterns dropping out, feelings from maybe old relationships. You can go into even past lives and relationships in this life, family relationships, patterns, karmic patterns that we're carrying, ancestral karma. Also getting rid of a lot of like societal fears of maybe how relationships should be done, how work and career should be done, how making money and taking care of oneself in this world should be done, right? All of these things are crumbling internally, energetically, so that new ways that serve a more unified or Eden, this new earth that serves it much better, right? And so we're going to go through these phases of allowing ourselves to come into that alignment, into our highest level and highest frequency that we can. So we're doing our work for ourselves, but also to assist with humanity and earth to come into this new way of being, right? We're holding this as if, we are monks meditating and holding a resonance to create a world of peace, harmony, and alignment, stepping out of duality where there's more fear that is driving everything, fear, competition, maybe aggression, right? It's based on an idea of lack, right? And so we're coming into a place of stepping into an understanding of abundance, that the path is already there. We just need to get out of our own way and surrender to this, right? And so we are opening ourselves up for this alignment with the Eden Light Frequencies via the Gateway Guardian Angelics. So we'll be connecting to Archangel Michael, who really does hold a very high, what you could say, Christ template, right? So him, as well as the other seraphims, again, have assisted with this original ascension, right? And you can translate this whole story into Buddha, right? Or in India. I'm not familiar with all the names of the gods and goddesses, but the story translates the same, more or less, where there are higher beings coming in, teaching us to shift our consciousness and allowing us to ascend and to come back up, and what we call coming home, okay? So there may be a lot of emotions that come up during these transmissions of maybe you miss this part of yourself a lot, or you are sad that you have been separated from it for so long, okay? And there may be new realizations that come in suddenly, okay? And the way that this will unfold is, first there is the shift, the inner shift, the inner realization, and then the material external world will shift based on that frequency and resonance, which is why we are focusing on shifting our frequency and resonance, because this is what's going to change how we're interfacing with the material external world. All right. So for these transmissions, I'll be using Akashic Enlightenment. I'll be opening up a dimensional healing space for all of you to come in. And instead of, I know I usually connect to the Aqualorians, we'll be connecting to these, the Seraphim and Archangel Michael and Metatron, and more or less connecting to this crystalline cavern that is located in Mount Shasta at Ascension Rock, right? So once you kind of enter that field, at least in my practice, you could say this is, a place that I have already visited in terms of like a shamanic journey, right? And once you have visited that, it becomes incorporated into your higher dimensional reality, okay? And so we'll be connecting to that space for these transmissions, and then allowing them to bring through these Eden crystalline light frequencies to assist with shifting you to whatever is in your highest and best with where things are shifting right now. And I would say that, a lot of people ask about replaying these. Number one, always, follow your intuition. If you feel really drawn to a certain one to replay, then replay that one. Okay. I would say if you're doing all of these in order in present time, that you can go ahead and listen to whatever we record today, listen to it throughout the week until next Friday when we do the next transmission. Then you can listen to that one throughout the week. Okay. My sense is that, even though there are level 1, 2, and 3, you don't have to do all of them. You don't have to do them in order. They're more or less just layering in these frequencies, and they're going to have a high enough intelligence of their own to work with whatever level that you're at. It's just a matter of building them overall. Okay. It's not, we just put them in a sequential order to make it easier to do, to map out where we are in our kind of calendar of doing them. Okay. And so I will start preparing to do these transmissions. Most of the transmissions tend to be about 30 minutes long. I'm assuming this transmission will be 30 minutes long. Afterwards, we can share what we have each experienced, typing into the chat, and we can also do any questions at that time as well. Okay, because I know some people may be new and have some questions about the topic and or what you experience. Okay, I do recommend that you either have your phone or a journal, something to write in to take notes. You may want to remember what you experience, and you may get direct guidance. And as you come out of the session, because you may get really sleepy in the session, going into a deeper healing state, allowing you to receive the energies better. And just like when you wake up out of sleep, you tend to forget your dreams when you wake up. So same thing here, you may tend to forget your experience. So if you want to really remember it, you can take notes so that you can remember it. And again, any guidance that you receive, maybe you need to call somebody, or look at this new job, or look at this apartment or house, or maybe you need to look into moving somewhere. All of these things. All right. And we are still riding a bit of this new moon energy that we just had on Wednesday. So I think that will probably be coming into play here as we go through. These 3 sessions are kind of working with the moon cycles as well. So we have new moon, and then we have the full moon before the last one. Right? And all the planets will be direct when we do the last of these 3. So there's going to be a lot coming through for these frequencies in this time period. And again, you can do these at any time, right? Just because we're doing them now doesn't mean it's not pertinent later, because the realms that we're working in are not in linear time. Okay, so whether we do this now, some people may wait. Maybe they're really afraid of doing any change, and maybe somebody will find this in a year, right, and go, oh, I'm really drawn to this course, I really want to do this. And at that time, they're ready to go through this transformation, right? Because the transformation that we're going through now is really setting up all these cycles that are opening up, and they're 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 year, 800 year cycles that are opening up here. So let's not get too stuck in linear time in terms of these sessions, right? We're just bringing them in at this present moment because it was guided. Okay, and it will be guided at any future time as well. Okay. So you can go ahead and get comfortable. If you tend to get sleepy, you may want to lay down so you don't fall out of your chair. Otherwise, you can just sit with your feet flat on the floor, or with your legs crossed in a meditative pose. Just try to have your spine relatively straight and your arms and legs uncrossed, right? So that your energy channels are open and flowing. Okay. And I will go ahead and start setting up the space, and then we'll do our transmission. All right.